Hello.
Well, good evening.
Hello, everybody.
Who's coming in?
I'm waiting to see our Chanel. Hope she pops in today. I hope she's not. Usually she'll be our first one, but hello,
Yes.
everyone. Welcome to Warrior Wednesday.
Yes. Welcome to Warrior Wednesday.
Come on in. Welcome.
Come on in the room.
Hey, Tia.
Hey,
Tia.
Tia. How are you? Hey, Cheryl. How are you?
Hey, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yes,
There
Chanel. We were
There she
waiting
is.
on Chanel.
Hop on in.
Hello, Amanda.
Hey, Mandy.
Welcome to Warrior Wednesday. We are so excited. Yes, it was Dana's birthday on yesterday. Yesterday. She's still celebrating.
Yeah, I'm just give me some peace and just chill out. My husband's supposed to be going to give me some crab.
Crabs?
Crab legs.
Hey, Anita.
Okay.
Hi,
Hey, Anita.
Hello,
Yes. Hey, Aunt Joe.
Hi, share with your
Joe
followers.
was in the house.
Yes, we want you to share and share tonight if you can. So we can get you all connected because we are going to be consistent. I know we got off, but we're going to try to be consistent with doing it bi-weekly. So you want to share and you want to subscribe so you can always keep, especially like our women's ministry page, so you can always keep abreast of when we're on because it's Warrior Wednesday. We need a theme song.
Yeah.
Like my husband be playing all his little music. Did y'all see he was in the 2000s? No. Yeah, he was in the 2000s.
I've been in the throwback mood too, so I feel it. I've really been in the throwback mood. I miss that choir. Hey, Carter.
He's way back into my when I was not saved days. Hey, Erica. Hey, Julia. How are you,
Hey,
Julia?
ladies.
I see Julia Pelotoning it. She be putting up her Peloton stuff.
Okay.
Julia be working it with her Peloton. I keep saying my husband wants to get one, and I'm like, but we'll see. Yes, we are so excited. It is our Warrior Wednesday, and we have a very interesting topic tonight. It is our versus battle.
Come on.
We played on our versus battle, all those battles they had. Do you realize they sold that the versus even though it just started as something they were doing during the pandemic, but they actually sold what they did for like it was high in the millions, over.
Wow.
Like they sold it for a ridiculous amount of money. And it was like, wow, this is something they thought to do during the pandemic. But we're going to do a versus today on Mary and Martha.
Yeah.
Now, how many of you ladies know that story? Use my coupon code and get a discount. Okay, Julia, you're going to have to send me that. Yes. How many know the story of Mary and Martha?
Come on, type it in.
We're going to read it tonight. Takes this
right,
voice.
Stacey,
Mary,
I see you, Stacey.
I see you.
Yes. And who are they weeping and who are they moaning? Who are they weeping? Who are they moaning? Come on.
So remember, how many people have sung that song? Who done that song?
Yeah.
I wonder how many, because she said take 6. I know Aretha Franklin when she sung with James Cleveland Choir. And is there anybody else?
Come on, Shannon. I don't
know.
My favorite version was always, I didn't know it until like years ago when I heard the Take 6 version, and then that's when I realized that was an actual song. But that was, I was young when I used to listen to Take 6 back in the day. And
yeah, Take 6 back in the day, but the Aretha Franklin. Is anybody watching Aretha? Sidebar. Anybody watching the Aretha Franklin documentary?
Watch it. I don't know how I feel about Cynthia Erivo being Aretha Franklin.
Now back up. Now the music part, they really should have used. Now I didn't like it because she's nowhere near the range of Aretha Franklin.
Yes,
but they should have either played the. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't have permission to use the original music. Now they had to have permission because they redid the song.
But they can't use her voice. They can use the songs as a public domain. But they cannot use her voice or her likeness, or they're gonna have to pay every time.
Well, I don't see how they could sing her songs for public. Her songs are not public domain.
Her songs for that movie because they gave them the rights to it. So I read up on it. So
I was just curious. But anyway, but she's not that great, but her acting is great. Her acting is great.
I love her voice. I think she's doing a good job. I
think she has a great voice. I just don't think it's Aretha. I think I would have wanted to see Fantasia. I would have loved to have seen Fantasia do that.
Who could be Aretha? Aretha was so stylistic.
Fantasia could have killed that.
Yeah. She probably could have killed the singing part, but the story, and we have this whole conversation. But the story is good. The storyline I've been watching. I just don't see why we have to wait for a whole week, though. The whole series thing on the week. But it's good. It's going really well. But Jennifer Hudson is going to do. I think the family is supposed to be doing
she has a movie, movie coming out too.
Yeah, they are doing a movie. This is something National Geographic does called Genius, and they do different artists or different things like that, and they do these series. But Jennifer Hudson is doing the actual movie. Yes. Deidre said she'd take Fantasia. Fantasia or Jennifer Hudson, but the story is good. But we're not going to debate on who would like to see who. I don't know, but Aretha was a bomb. She was the bomb, but she just had a messed up life. She had a messed up. She just had a really
early. She got early.
What she was exposed to as a child it's just. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. A whole other topic. But you see how things progress. Like back then, things happen to you. You have traumatic instances. You have to keep going. And those traumatic instances, those tragedies.
Or you learn to hide and not get the healing that you need because she was very
sick. That's what I'm saying. You don't get that healing. We don't get that therapy or things that you need, like the part she's pregnant at 12. Hey Jessica, she's pregnant at 12, and it's just like, you're gonna go on and keep on doing what you're doing, but okay. It was just interesting. But anyway, that's a whole nother story different.
That was our in
that was good. That was our little breaking discussion
on.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Mama Gail.
Hey, Mama Gail.
It's so good to see everybody here as we talk about our versus battle of Mary versus Martha, as we delve into servanthood. This is very interesting. But we're going to do a little trivia first before we get started. And I'm going to turn it over to Shannon as she starts off on our trivia. We're going to skip that question that we had at first, since Stacy came out the gate.
This is all in fun. Let's see who was paying attention.
Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that down. We'll move that down. Okay, so the first one is
name 5 Mary songs. We're gonna roll with the Marys tonight. So name 5 Mary songs. Hit it, go.
Let me go to the comments.
All in one message. 5 songs.
Yes, 5 songs by the group Mary Mary. Did anybody else think that was their name?
For a long time, I did.
I
For a
did. I used
long
to think that was their names.
Mm-hmm.
And then
For a
I was
long
like,
time.
oh, they have names? Their names are not Mary?
I did too for a long time. I thought it was they both were named Mary. I was like,
Me
oh, this is
too.
And then when they got married,
incredible and
Mary Campbell.
believer. I don't.
Incredible.
Now I don't know that many Mary Mary songs except the ones that were super popular. So I can't tell you if Shackles Get Up,
Walking,
Walking.
Get up, walking.
Is Walking.
I
Oh,
worship.
I'm Walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. 1, 2.
Okay.
3. Yep. That's it,
What,
Jen.
come on, worship me.
Okay,
Come on,
Jen.
I worship you. You took everything.
Yes. Okay.
That
I
one.
forgot all
Oh,
about that song. Y'all naming songs. God in Me. That is one.
Mm-hmm.
In the Morning. Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go get it.
Go get it. Yeah, come on,
Y'all
Dan.
naming it. Yesterday. Y'all rolling.
Okay.
Yes, but Jennifer, I believe, was our first one
The
with
5.
Shackles, Get Up, Walking, I Worship You, and Thank You.
Yep.
Deirdre said she's eating.
I saw that. She's eating. She knew Jen had it. But next would have been Jessica. No, she only got 3 songs. Tia, you have 4. You missed the one. So Jennifer got that one. We're gonna go to the next one.
Here we go.
Mary J. Blige.
Name 3 famous women named Mary. 3 famous women. They can be fictional or real. 3 famous Marys.
Yeah, 3 famous Marys.
That was hard, y'all. Y'all don't know that.
I know. I was like, oh, I don't know that. Me. I was like, I don't know.
Mary J. Come on, Jessica. You right.
Come on,
Jessica, I
Jess.
thought that she posted that Jessica had a headache. But she gonna play. Yes, boo. Go ahead and play. I'm just messing with you, Jessica. You can play. Mary
Clarence. We did
Clarence.
not know the questions beforehand. So this is just.
She didn't know. She didn't know.
Oh, I didn't even
Mary
think about
had
her.
Oh my God. I just did a whole
Julia.
with
Go
her.
ahead, y'all.
Y'all coming up with it. Mary Magdalene.
Look at that. Wait,
Okay,
now I lost track.
Erica
Mary
said
Sims. Who's Mary Sims? Julia.
Mary Treadwell. Who's Mary Treadwell, Erica? Mary Mother of Jesus. Kendra said Mary McLeod. Yes, Bethune. Mary J. Blige. And Mary
Clarence.
Magdalene.
Come on, Mary Clarence from Sister Act.
Mary Clarence.
I know it's Sister Mary Clarence. I had Mary Poppins, Mary
Goldberg, Mary Poppins. What are we thinking?
Mary Tyler Moore, Mary J.
Mary
and
Tyler
Mary
Moore.
had a little lamb. You should have never said.
Mary had a little.
Mary Sims is her cousin. We said famous.
Oh,
Mary had a little lamb. She was a caretaker. She had a gifting. So,
but what we had down. This is who we had. We had Mary J. Blige, Mary Magdalene, Mary Tyler Moore, Mary Kay Olsen, and Mary Wilson. Got on Mary Wilson from the Supremes.
Yes.
she could sing. She sang a little bit better. She could sing. Mary Wilson could sing really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was funny. Y'all had some really good.
That was good.
Good people down here. And she did say fictional. She did say fictional. Yeah. She did. So we stand corrected. So the winner of that one was Erica because she said the 3 that she had. So with the story of Mary versus Martha, we're gonna take you to a story where Jesus comes to their house. Jesus was a close friend to Mary, Martha, and her brother Lazarus. But it's in this little scene when he comes to. You think Mary Treadwell was Marion Barry's first wife?
She was. Yeah. Come on, Aunt Josephine.
Go ahead,
Thank you, Aunt Jo, for
history.
that info.
history. Okay. Bars and stars.
All I remember is Effie. Remember
Effie,
Effie?
yeah,
That's all I remember is Effie.
Yeah.
I only know about Mary Treadwell. And then the last one, what was the last one's name?
Cora.
Okay. Thanks, Aunt Joe. So we're going to go to the story. It's in Luke chapter 10. And it's just like 3 or 4 verses. 4 verses, I believe, of the story. And we're going to delve into Mary versus Martha on the subject of servanthood. I'm going to have Shannon read. No, Dana can read. Somebody can read. Read, Judy. Somebody read.
You got it, Dana.
Okay, so Luke 10:38. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Verse 39, her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. Verse 40, but Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. That's
now,
good.
wow. Now, Jesus comes to Mary and Martha's house. Martha's in. She welcomed him in. Then she goes to set up and get stuff together. And while she's working, she realizes, wait a second, I'm in here by myself. Mary is over there sitting there at the feet of Jesus, just kicking it, chit-chat.
And then she goes snitching.
I was going to say she snitched. She goes snitch.
She was throwing shade. Big shade.
Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you? It bothers me, so it gotta be bothered. Don't be saying it's a little unfair. That key word when she said, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me.
Snitch.
Tell her to come and help me. That part right there was like, oh, you was real familiar with Jesus. You was real familiar with Jesus. You was just like, I need you to do something about that because this is unfair. And don't you think it's unfair? So she on the same level and everything. So with that there, right there, we see some strengths of them. They both have strengths. When you think about it, Mary was at the feet of Jesus talking with him. And Martha, Martha ran, to get things together. He's been traveling. Let me go fix, get some food and prepare for them. They come into my house and things like that. So was either of them wrong?
Wow.
That's a good question.
Is one better than the other?
I just think
Martha was wrong for throwing shade for sure. She was wrong for going to Jesus and trying to get at Mary without going to Mary. She's like, trying to snitch on Mary to Jesus to get Mary in trouble. And that's where I feel like Martha was wrong.
I also think that she was wrong in not understanding or not mature enough to see that we're serving in the gifts that we've been given. I'm serving the way it's been given to me, both of them. So I think one was serving the way she was supposed to serve, and the other was serving the way she was supposed to serve. It may appear that the one that was doing all of this labor looked like she was doing more, but we'll discover, that maybe that's not.
But it's when you say what's she doing more, she's sitting at the feet. They both were entertaining.
They were both entertaining.
If we want to go to how we have people come in our house. So if I invite somebody into my house, there are certain things I'm doing to prepare for the person that comes into my house. Everybody can't be. I don't think everybody can't be in the kitchen.
Right.
Somebody has to be talking, keeping them company, and the other. But I don't think anything was wrong per se. Let's see what some of our comments are saying. Hey, Bonnie, I think she felt slighted in spending quality time with Jesus.
Oh, that she wasn't able to.
That's a good. That's a good.
Wasn't
take
able
on
to
it.
spend quality time. Carla said, no, I don't think they were wrong. It's a typical thought process that we expect people to be like us.
Right.
Very good.
Neither
were wrong in their doing. It was a matter of perspective.
Very good, lady. All of those are
very good.
Like that.
Because, like, as you mentioned, when people come to your house, she said she welcomed them into their home. Julia said maybe she never helped.
Julia said.
But hey, maybe she didn't. But maybe that's just not her thing. I didn't cook for the first 20-something years of my life. I didn't cook like that. I was not in the kitchen. My sisters knew, like, as soon as dinner was over, I went to the bathroom. So they would be in the kitchen.
You're the youngest, yeah, I was too. Yeah,
I would automatically have to go to the bathroom.
Really?
Wrong is two left shoes, but I did because our kitchen was small. We lived in a duplex. It was like a little teeny kitchen. All three of us can't stand there washing dishes.
Right.
Julia said, "Well, don't have fun while I'm working." But But here we're looking at servanthood. Jesus has come in their presence. He's with both of them. He is in their house. One is preparing things for him, and shut up, Carla. And the other is sitting at his feet. But nobody is wrong.
Right.
Now, Martha, which I love because she doesn't hold the way she feels in, but it's just like, okay, don't you think it's not fair? Wait a minute, you don't see this? She's trying to get God to see the attention of, like, wait a minute, don't you see something that's wrong that I'm doing this and she's not? But the thing was that when he said she chose the better part, the good part of being at my feet, being in my presence. Because
put that scripture back up with his response, because when he said you're worried, I liked what he said, and that was the NLT, but I know one of the versions that I read today said that she was troubled. He used the word troubled.
Worried and upset over all these details.
Like, and I questioned that today. I was like, he's chastising her in a loving way? Like, girl, that's you worried about stuff, and you're all upset about something that you really don't have no control over, like all the little details kind of thing, like stay in your lane kind of thing. That's how I kind of said. He wasn't chastising in a bad way, but I think he was saying, you do you and let her do her.
I think the key thing, like when you're worried about these details, it's minute.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with what Mary is doing. It's just the one thing is being concerned about, and Mary has discovered it, and it won't be taken away from her. Discovered is being at my feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it meant that what she was doing was wrong, because Jesus wasn't by himself. He always traveled with his disciples. So there's food being prepared. There's people to be fed. It wasn't wrong with it. Do what you gotta do, boo. Come on out here and sit down. Come sit with me.
Maybe he was like, don't you realize who's here? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's thinking, don't you realize what I can do? You have no idea that I can, prepare a table before everybody that's here. Just being in my presence. And maybe that's what he's getting at, is like Mary has discovered the fact that, I'm here, and that's really all that matters. And like, everybody has said, no, it doesn't. I don't think Martha was wrong, because I mean, that's, she's just being hospitable. I invited you to my house. I'm going to make sure everybody is taken care of that's here. But, Mary was the one who realized the gravity of Jesus's presence. And I think that's
what both of them were being hospitable, I think. But you have to realize that this was what you were supposed to do. Now, I feel like she was kind of upset. And when you're serving, let's put this out there. If you're serving, that it's service. So why are you mad? Are you, what was she? So what I know that she was mad, but you got an attitude, like you serving with an attitude, kind of like, okay,
then you can keep it. Then is that servanthood?
That's a good question. Like who, like her attitude wasn't her why and her reason, because that, like Paul was saying earlier, Lady Paul was saying earlier, it's not everybody can't be in the kitchen. Your service is supposed to be there. Because the people wouldn't have had anything to eat.
Well, true. And the key word when you mention about servanthood and your attitude, the Bible, it does say in that verse before that she was distracted.
She was distracted, yeah.
She was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. But she came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem fair? She got distracted in the midst of her serving, right? Doing what she was appointed to do. And sometimes we do that. We focus on, what other people aren't doing. She got distracted, and then you get mad. and you have to be very careful, because then it's like, oh, I'm doing something, and not that Dana's not doing something, but I see Dana sitting. I don't know what Dana did before, but I see Dana sitting. I'm doing all this work, and they just sitting there looking at me. But servanthood in the Bible is one who's distinguished as obedient and faithful to God, which is all of us who love Him. We're distinguished as being obedient and faithful to God, so we follow what He's done. Now, what He's done. We follow Him, and we live our lives to please Him. That's what we do. We live to please Him. But we had some good comments over here that I wanted to get to. Jennifer said Martha is like being involved in ministry. Okay, so Martha is the person working in ministry. I gotta go back up. Y'all was rolling in these comments.
They were rolling. They were coming in.
I'm trying to do. And then Mary is like being in a relationship with God. Neither is wrong, but which one is more important?
Come on.
Now I like that question. I like that, Jenny. Martha is a worker. And y'all are right online, because I have a whole graphic of the strengths of both. So Mary
praise, Mary is worship. They praise and worship.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They are. So in a relationship with God, but it's also when I first come to Him, and we know that when I hear it also in being a leader, where people say, okay, I gave my life to Christ, but I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do. What should I do? And then we say, oh, we have all these ministries you can get involved with. And then they may be like, I don't know what I want to do or whatever. So we tell them to pray. We say, okay, but if they say they're going to sit and wait to hear and get closer to God so they know, I think you can't serve Him without a relationship.
That's it.
You really can't. I can become busy.
And that's what do you think that people can get to the point where, maybe they started out serving, as because it was what they were supposed to be doing, like they're serving unto God, but then they get to a place where God is somewhere by the wayside, and you're just serving, like you said, serving to be busy, or serving to say, you know, look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think somebody said that too, serving to be seen. Somebody said it. I can't remember. I saw it up there. Somebody did say serving to be seen. And I think sometimes we get distracted with service.
And then
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the very premise of our Christian walk is choices. Our initial coming to God is a choice. And then from that point on, we've been expected to make choices through our whole walk. We either choose to do what God say, or we choose not. You know, it's just choices. So when we choose, and when you come into church, when people tell you that they're choosing, if you tell them if they're not serving, we assume that they're making a choice not to. And that's not always the case. You know, I think we kind of, if they're not doing something, we think it's the opposite, that they're making a choice not to. It's either or. And I don't think that's the case. I think that we look at it so legalistically. We're looking at it legalistically, the premise of how we choose to come to Christ. So we think you always have to be making a choice. So if I'm not serving, that person must be making a choice not to serve. That's what Martha did. You know, she said she must be making a choice not to serve. You know,
she's choosing not to help me. So Lord, tell her to come help me. Because if you tell her, she will do it. So Lord, tell her to come work over here. And he's saying she's fine right here at my feet. So it's back to that. It's a relationship, because I believe Martha has the relationship with Jesus, because Jesus loved spending time with them, and he loved this family, and he stopped there at their home. So they knew him, they had a relationship with him, they were close to him. And it's not as if one is wrong or the other, but that priorities. But then it's also the attitude behind what it is. But it was something else somebody said. I'm trying, because these comments, I can't keep up. They were coming
fast and furious.
They are coming fast and furious. So Letitia asked the question. So I wonder if someone would have had something to say if they didn't have any food, etc. Very interesting, because they, most of the time, biblical times, when they stopped by your house, it was to take a rest, to clean, you know, their feet were dusty, things like that. And it's not like, oh, they had convenience stores, like they had fast food. So when they stopped by, customary would be to eat, to rest, clean your feet, you know, to travel back on your way. So, but in the Bible, he does say man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. So he probably was not hungry, but who knows? Who knows? But I just think this is a very story, because it's in here to show, I believe, what it means to serve. And it doesn't, and not to compare yourself to one another.
That service really is a heart thing. It's a heart thing. It's not always. It's not what you're doing with your hands all the time. It's a heart thing. It's what's in your heart, because you can't really, because that will help you. That will lead you to what you should be doing if your heart is in the right place.
Yes.
It'll lead you to what you should be actually doing, because faith without works is this. We do have to do some works. I mean, where everybody not going to be like, well, God know my heart. No, you do have to do something. You have to get in there.
And in service, we all have something to do in the local church. In the local church, period. We all have something to do. Now, in this moment, she got distracted from what she was supposed to do. Period. When somebody come to your home, and as a woman and whatever, in this biblical time, now y'all don't be going on me saying that the man go fix it. We're not talking about that, but in this time, when they come to your home, you did do these things when guests came. Carla said she may have been mad she was missing out on what Jesus was doing and saying while she was working. Because can you imagine? Every time he opened his mouth, can you imagine being in the presence of God and every time he opens his mouth, I mean, you're getting some kind of revelation. I mean, he's speaking to like.
But he wasn't a surprise visit. She knew she knew he was coming, right?
I don't know if she knew
he was coming. They knew.
It doesn't say, but it doesn't say. But he was in now. Where they're located, I believe, is Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. So Bethany, I believe when he passed through, he did come to their home.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know they ain't have mail, they ain't have text, they have all that kind of stuff. So it's not like, oh, I'll be there on Thursday to be ready. So it's, just she may have been mad she was missing out. I mean, I think that's a natural inclination. Then Stacy said maybe Martha was insecure in her service. When you know your role, it's a whole lot easier to play your position.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's why you cannot get into that comparison of what you're called to do. And I believe sometimes in a local church, we give a list of the things that you could be doing. And then if you don't do any of these things, then we're saying you're not serving. Now I know I shouldn't say it too, because I'm, and it's true, but it gets into like, okay, what has God called you to do? What is it, and if you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I'm praying about it, I believe. Personally, I believe that. Kendra said, Martha's heart was in the right place. Her intentions were good in being hospitable, but she was wrong for minding her sister's business. Laugh out loud. I think it's a matter of heart, not necessarily what they each chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you there. Mm-hmm. Because she got distracted by what she saw her sister not doing, rather. Mama Gail said, just do you to the best of your ability. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? Oh, Tia has a question. Why is it so easy to get distracted when serving?
I think we get weary.
She said, why is it so easy to get distracted?
Yeah, you while you're in the middle of serving, it could be many of things. I'm thinking, if we're judging it on using this scripture, but it could be personal too. But if I'm using her as a model, maybe she was just exhausted. Maybe she was doing so much and she was just exhausted and didn't just doing so much. Then somebody else maybe.
Well, if we bring it to modern day, bringing it to now, and you're serving, why is it so easy to get distracted?
Then that was someone that someone that distracted Martha. Mary was she wasn't distracting her from serving, but she caused her to be discouraged in her serving. Mary caused Martha to be discouraged in her serving.
How did Mary cause her? Or
in her mind, because she went to Jesus and she's like, well, I'm in here doing all of this and she's not doing anything. So that caused, to me, that seemed like it caused Martha to be, I guess it didn't deter her from doing what she thought she needed to do, but in her mind, it upset her. It discouraged her that she was serving. And here you are not doing anything. So guess what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, and they don't tell you all of that, but I'm going to sit down at Jesus' feet,
But we talked about that too. And I think Joe put in the comments, it's like your why. But also, you got to understand, we can't miss the moment that she was mad. She was actually really bitter about it. She came off kind of angry, right? And so that's a heart thing for me. That's like, why are you so mad? What is causing? And so there are script there. I have heard teachings on the fact that she was doing too much. And when Jesus says you are troubled and worried about the details, I read it in the King James. And the King James said, you're troubled. That means, you go to verse before, she was just doing too much. And so sometimes when you get bitter and you be looking like, I'm doing all of this and the church ain't doing this and I'm tired, but you don't say it, you passive aggressive. She was passive aggressive because she in the kitchen and she's doing it, but then she come out with all that passive aggression like, wait a minute, sister, you're supposed to be helping. We can't miss that. We can't miss that moment. I'm not saying she was wrong. Her feelings are valid. They are valid.
Her feelings are valid. Her feelings are valid.
Saying that she needs to check, like Aunt Joe just said, your why. It's because it's not your why. Like, what is your why? Why are you in the kitchen fixing the food? Why? Go back to your why. And that, if you're doing it for Jesus, then that will change your heart. You won't be so mad when you don't see others doing stuff. You really want it to take a piece.
You hit a thing on the head. When you said she was troubled, and he does say, why are you worried about these things? Mary is the same Mary that anointed Jesus' feet with the box of alabaster box of the anointed perfume, and it would go down in time because she was really anointing him before his death. And so Mary had a connection in that she recognized that he was the Messiah, but she also recognized that he was the Savior, that he was coming to die. And she recognized all of that. And so she reverenced him. And there's also, like, when Lazarus died, Mary runs out. I mean, we won't get onto that on the next time, but Martha runs out to him and says, if you would have been here, my brother would not have died. But then Mary, when she goes back to get Mary comes out and runs and falls at his feet crying. And she says the same thing, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. So the fact that when she ran to his feet, she reverenced him. She recognized that, oh, he's not like everybody else. And, and she may have had a sense of familiarity with him, or she may not have fully understood who he was. It's a possibility, not fully, not that she didn't know him, but it's a possibility she didn't like fully, the full magnitude of who God is,
Kendra, I like what Kendra, you see Kendra's comment?
Wait a minute, okay, I gotta go down. Okay. Kendra, lack of maturity spiritually makes it easy to get distracted. When you have a mature, genuine relationship with God, your service is truly just between you and him. Martha was worried about Mary, but Mary wasn't worried about Martha because her eyes, her heart was on him.
It.
Good.
And that's it. That's why when you look up servanthood, it doesn't talk about what you do per se. It's that obedience to God, and that you're a follower of him. It doesn't say, oh, I serve God by doing XYZ. It's my obedience to him. I love it. Yeah. Tabitha said, I think we focus so much on serving in any capacity that we don't live or make the most of the moment. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's what I said in the local church. Now, of course, everybody in order for the church to function, period, God needs people to do it in the local church, from feeding the homeless, from having a place to worship. People are needed to do things for it to run. Yes. But then when it becomes that that's all that I am doing, I'm not in my relationship with God, I'm not spending time with him, and then I do become worried, I do get tired, I do get all of these things because I'm doing what I'm doing just because. I may not be doing it out of a relationship. And I think we talked about it where, you know, if you grew up in church from a child, you're taught to do certain things in church. You had to do something.
Become
you gotta do something. So it becomes work.
Work.
It's not what I want to do. It's become, oh yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Then when I come into a relationship with him, and then I really find out, you know what, I don't like singing in the choir.
Right.
I don't want to be no usher, you know, I don't want to do that. What is God, what does he want me to do for him?
For him. Amen.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you become distracted and worried about what somebody else is doing, then I'm not serving. I'm now trying to figure out why you not doing something.
Right. And we judging.
Like,
we
Mary was not concerned.
Right. That was good. You shaming her.
Mary didn't care.
And I try not to, but we definitely have been at, and we're shamed. That's the premise of how we in church. It's either or. You always go between choices, and they don't give anybody room to be in the middle. Just say, I'm just praying or whatever, and we judge. And that is judgmental. It's shaming. You're shaming in a sense. And
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I have done it. I have. I think everybody, because we're and sometimes we're comparing. We're not all the same.
We're not gonna all
so he's gifted us to do certain things in certain ways. You need that one that's sitting at Jesus' feet. So if we together and I'm getting ready to say or do something crazy, I need you who been at his feet. You know what? Right. That's not what God will want us to do or want you to do. And it but I think sometimes we do compare. We do compare what others do or don't do. And we do tend to judge. But when he said that needful thing, I think in another version, it says that Mary is choosing the needful thing. And we all need to be at his feet.
Right.
Period. We need to be in that relationship with him so that he can tell us what to do and what not to do. Because sometimes we've been doing stuff just because.
Right.
Yep.
Sometimes we're doing stuff that we ain't even supposed to do.
Right. Put up Cheryl Bennett's comment real quick because she just asked a question. So you ask God, what do you want me to do or how to serve you?
Yes. And that's what I was saying. Martha should have done. Ask Jesus, what can I do for you?
What do you want me to do or how to serve you?
Am I in my right place, God? Instead of coming out saying, tell her to do. She should God.
No, right. No, when she said, don't you think it's unfair? Like,
yes. Jabbing Mary through Jesus. You trying to jab Mary through Jesus.
Yep, Mama Gail. Yep, Miss Gail.
In modern day, I think if we consult him and trust him, he will direct us. And that is the honest to goodness truth. Like I said, I have been in church since I will never forget. My mother got saved, child. She messed my little Sunday roller skating at Forestville skating rink totally up, right? So we started going to church. And so of course we started doing all the things that you're supposed to do in church. We had to do Sunday school, we had to do the choir, we had to do the usher on whatever Sunday that was. We had to do all the events, anything that happened, we had to do. So when I really, really, really got saved, like when I really gave my life to the Lord, I said, look, I've been singing and ushering forever. And I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do. So, Lord, but when I join this new church, I need you to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Because
And
I
then
have been doing what I have been told. But you know what? I never asked you. I never sought you. You know, what is it that you want me to do? And so it's really, what is it that God, you want me to do? And then when I'm in my lane and I'm doing what God has called me to do,
you're at peace. Yeah.
I don't worry about what other people are doing.
You got blinders on. It's like, and then you don't feel tired or weary. He will give you that balance. He gives you that peace because you're
effective.
You're effective. Come on. That's
a good one. That is the key thing. You are effective. Kendra said having 3 siblings taught me I'm more impactful in my lane than I am trying to follow in someone else's footsteps. We all found our thing and gave our all to that. The same applies with servanthood and ministry. And that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding what it is that God has called you to do. He has gifted and created each and every one of us with a purpose. And that way, when somebody does come to you and say, you need to be over here, you can clearly stand flat-footed and say, well, the Lord did not tell me that. He told me to do this. I appreciate you asking me, but
and that's good talking.
This is what the Lord has called me to do. And I will pray that you find somebody to fill that spot.
Right. Basically, and I've been told no about things, but we are put here to be servants. Bottom line, we're put here to be servants and to serve others. That's our mission statement, guys. We are our last one of our mission statements to serve others, right? And so how do you do that? And that question that Cheryl put up is when you do your minute prayers in the morning. I've been saying this for months now. You definitely got it. We all get the same 24 hours. That's why you really got to start chunking your day in such a way that if it's not on your agenda, don't put it on your plate. And you will find yourself that same 24 hours. What are you supposed to be doing in this hour, this hour? You can be, God is that specific. I'm telling you, you got to work. Some people work for 8 hours, but if you got ministry work to do, you carve out some ministry time. And if it's only an hour, you give that hour and you give 100% to that hour. Period. And you don't move until that thing is done. But you look at your clock and say, I'm going from 7 to 8. Nobody's going to judge that. That's your clock, your time. We all are giving it. But you got to give your 10th, your time, your talent, and your treasure. That's what we are here to do. And it's really I don't think it's a great area. I just think you just need to seek, like Mama Gail said, you need to seek out God, stay still for a minute. Don't get busy for the sake of getting busy, but just be prayerful, but say, I know I'm supposed to be serving. Tia been saying it for weeks now. Where am I supposed to be? And if you have a relationship with him, he will put you in place. He will put you there and you will be so at peace and you won't feel overwhelmed. You just won't.
Yeah, because God is no respecter of persons. And I think this story was a purpose but it's that time with him. And I want to be like Mary. And I want to be at his feet and I want to recognize who he is. And I think we have to be focused to what he's called us to do and do that well. Mm-hmm. Do that with all of our heart. Mm-hmm. Do that with that's my direction, that's my focus. And Martha had a focus. She had a purpose. That was what she was supposed to do. But she got overwhelmed with what she thought something else. Or maybe she focused so much on that.
Yeah.
Because he does try to redirect her I think Jennifer says your effectiveness can also, for whatever reason, distract others. It takes Jesus to redirect the perspective and the heart of
You
Mary.
ladies are doing some really good.
Now, Jennifer, that is very good because most of the time when you are effective, people want to be like you.
You leave footprints.
They want to be like you, but not always in a good way.
Right. Yes.
Because it can distract you, but thinking, I have to be like you.
Right.
That's another way I looked at it, that, I got to be like you. Do what you're supposed to do, because you ain't had that much to get together. Do what you're supposed to do and come sit down.
Right.
Come be with me.
Carla said that earlier. Carla said,
yeah,
she could have finished early, but she probably didn't properly plan. I've done that. Like, I remember I said, I'm going to do the whole Thanksgiving dinner, honey. I don't know what I was thinking. And then about 2:00, people coming over, and then it's supposed to be and people in the, and I'm sweating and I'm mad. I ain't changed my shirt. I still got flour. I'm mad. I'm frustrated because I ain't know everybody walking past like they ain't helping. So I didn't properly plan, and I didn't, I took too much on. I didn't ask for help. I could have asked for. You could also ask. That's another thing. And we don't ask. We have to get people who are leaders.
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that.
Go to people. Don't go to the
Martha didn't ask either. She could have said, "Hey, Mary, can you come here for a second?" Like, she didn't ask.
Go to people, ask, and if they say no, that's fine. But you have to seek out. God tells you, you look out amongst the crowd, and you can't just keep going to the same people. So you may be somebody else. You say, "Can you help me with these roles? I need one thing to do. I got one thing to do. Can you just do that and be done?" So yeah, I like this conversation. It's really good.
Yeah, this is good. We're gonna have to continue this. It's already 8:26, but I did want to ask this question: who do you relate more to, Mary or Martha? So we're going to ask our people, who do you guys, Aunt Josie, as you always say, do you, boo? I got to hear you say that, Aunt Joe. But I love it. So who do you relate more to, Mary or Martha? I would say for me, Martha. I have a tendency to be like, I'm not even gonna say what I say, but I have a tendency to be like Martha, because I do get distracted when I'm thinking I'm doing something. I'm like, oh, nobody even asked me. And nobody asked me that I want some help. But I ain't asked nobody, oh, can you help me, please? Would you mind? I'm mad. They just sitting there looking at you. Okay, so
everybody's saying
people say Martha. I want to get as much wisdom as I can. Okay, Martha.
You mean Mary? So you want
Mary, Mom? She must have.
Margil, do you mean Mary?
Yeah, she wanted to be.
Mary was at the feet. Martha
she was at the feet. Yeah,
Martha in the kitchen working.
At one point, Bonnie said, at one point I was Mary. Relationship with God has curbed me. Now I am Martha. Okay, I know what she's saying.
Yeah.
You started off as Mary, but now you're Martha. Kendra, Mary, I mind my business. I was a Martha in my younger days. Girl, how old are you? Because I'm younger days, because I wanted people to be where I was with Jesus, not realizing I was minding their heart. That is good. But now it's me and Jesus, and that's all I'm worried about. I love it. I'm
a combination. I definitely am a combination. I've grown to be a combination because I have learned, like I said, we all get the same. I've learned to balance my day. I look at my clock and I have my little, and I'm not great. I'm not perfect at it. So whatever don't get done, I'll be like, it is not going to get done. I'm learning that. I've learned that over this last year, especially. That's one of the biggest things that I learned how to do. And I almost got a t-shirt for it. I just can look at the clock look at a day in 24 hours and I say, I got this much to sleep. I got this much to do my day job. I got this much to do my ministry work. I got this much to do my business. And then whatever don't get done, I do my 3 and 5s. I do my 3 must and then my 5 maybes and then everything else. And I'm just learning that. And it helps me balance and so that I carve out time for God, because you cannot do anything if you're not putting that on your 24-hour clock. Nothing. That needs to be priority.
Okay. Latia said, I think I'm like Martha most of the times, but I feel like I'm becoming like Mary. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
good.
that. Mm-hmm. Stacy, I share both qualities. Definitely a worker bee, but I also know how to anticipate the needs.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. And Carla says, I am Martha.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I want to be more like Mary, where I, because I get up thinking about what I have to do.
Yep.
More so than, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Or sitting at your feet, and you know what? You orchestrate my day, not me. Already have pre-orchestrated my day. God, what am I to do today? And then from there, because sometimes I think, and I'm guilty of it too, we don't wait for the answer.
Yeah.
We have figured it already out, and then God, is this good for today? Well, I guess it didn't get done today, but so Lord, what is it for today? What do you want me to do? That relationship. And then whatever he says, I do, and trust him for whatever that outcome is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're stuck in areas of ministry or things that we think we should do, and that's not really where he wants you right now, but how to let go of that, to do that, what he's called you to do. We're worrying about all the other outcomes of it and just being obedient to what it is that he said. That is, and I think about, like I said, when we get to that story with Lazarus, it's hearing him, but also believing him.
Yes. Right. Yep.
But yep, and be seeking at all, always be seeking. Okay, go ahead. And Jen says, I am learning to be like Mary and carry things to Jesus, but Martha be trying to creep up in there, here and there. Right. It's like
that's true.
It is. So and I think we all struggle with being both. Like I said, neither one is wrong.
Right.
I think it's just we're human, and I think
probably we're women too. So it's probably our nature.
Yeah.
I gotta fix this. Let me do this. Yep.
Let's do all that. We worrying about all these things, trying to juggle everything, and most of the time, God has gifted us with the ability to juggle.
Mm-hmm.
He has, because it's no way, if the roles were reversed, for a man to be able to take care of children and the wife, and the things, doing all the things together. Now, sometimes men have to do it when they're single parents, and I'm not saying that, but it's a difference in that. And there are a lot of things as women we take on because we can, and I believe that's how he gifted us to do it. But then we can be overwhelmed, and then we get mad, and we tell Jesus, I think this is a little unfair that you got me doing all this stuff.
Right.
And then he say, I didn't tell you to do all that stuff.
There's so many directions we can go.
I was trying to see what she said. I used to be in the playground condemning classmates because they didn't go to church and sing in the choir like I did.
That's pretty much Kendra. She's been there. She's been an old soul her whole life.
True. That is so funny because
get off them monkey bros and come to church with me.
And I just feel like we just really I feel like we're in a good place, in a good position coming out of the pandemic. I definitely feel like this is the time where we should, as like our ministry or whatever, we're very blessed because we definitely are a worshiping church, and we're taught that. We're not not taught how to worship at our church. So we can get in God's face and figure it out. But we definitely have to be asking daily what God is asking of us so that we can, you know, build the kingdom, because it is all about the kingdom, right? It's about doing that.
What he's called you to do in all areas of life, not just in the local church.
Just, right.
It's period.
Right.
It's period. And it goes back to being at his feet. Because obviously he like coming here, y'all. He stopped there. He was friends. So he also had a purpose in coming here. So that's the part that gets in. And when we accept him as our Lord and Savior, he's with us at all times. All times. He is with us. He is ready to fellowship with us, speak to us. As he left us the Holy Spirit. So we ask a question, we can get an answer. Or as my pastor always used to teach me, if you don't hear anything, that means that you don't do it.
You don't do it. Bottom line.
You don't do it. You don't do it. And I have always valued that. Like, hey, Lord, I need you to have clarity here. If I don't hear nothing, then that means I stay still. So we are over our time, but this has been so good. I can't wait to continue because we have some questions. We didn't even get to our questions. And we're gonna get all the weaknesses. But that's good because we can. I'm sorry, I hit something. Martha takes full control over me. Okay, Deidre. Yes.
Have your way, Martha.
Have your way. So, but we can go into what about serving and also about the weaknesses of both characters, because we pulled up their strengths, and I think we realized that they did have strengths. The two of them. I can show you what we have for their strengths real quick. Mary's strength, she was a worshiper. I think she always desired to be at his feet. She anointed him. I think I said those things. Martha's strength, she was task-oriented. She was outspoken. She was hospitable, and she was a worker. And that's a strength. Those are strengths to have.
I'm always planning in my head. And I know Paul is like, oh, we can't do that. But I'm thinking, I said, we should let the ladies come up with a playlist, like a verse, like a playlist, like what will be Martha's songs? I just did that for my birthday. What will be Martha's songs? What will be Mary's songs? Verses, like have real verses. Like,
oh, okay.
How would they describe themselves or whatever? We can plan that for later. Since we're going to continue this a couple of times, we'll figure out how to plan it.
Oh, I think that would be neat though, a different playlist or whatever. Part 2 in 2 weeks, yes, Chanel. Part 2 in 2 weeks. And so I think that's really the case, is that we should try to be both. I want to be diligent, I want to be task oriented. But I think that is neat, Dana, the verses playlist. What will Mary's playlist be and Martha's? I see Martha's upbeat because she's working. She needs some energy to move. Martha gonna be
right.
She gonna be on the floor snotting. It's like, nah.
Like, so we don't know a lot about the ladies, but we can infer. I'm a teacher, so you can infer. You can infer based on their relationship with their brother, who they, you can infer their personalities without having to, so.
Yeah, that story about the Lazarus, that story is so interesting. When you unpack it, that is in. Oh, you all can read up on it as we prepare for that. Though that is in, I believe, John chapter 11.
Go ahead, Jessica. Jessica said you putting it. Jessica accused cleanup woman by Martha. I'm cleanup woman.
woman. And she gonna have what's that other song? Mary, Mary, why you bugging?
Right.
Y'all are so wrong, so wrong. Oh, that is too cute. Oh, that's fine. We'll have that ready for y'all next week. That'll be good in 2 weeks. Yes, that'll be good. What was I going to say next? I can't remember. My mind totally left me. Okay, all right. I don't know what I was going to say, but it's okay. I have no idea what I was going to say. Other than, okay, well, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Hey, I was going to say something.
Was it about Good Friday? What was it about? Anything you wanted to like?
No, it wasn't on that. It was, I don't know what. Oh, John chapter 11. You all can read John chapter 11.
Lazarus.
The story of Lazarus. When he died. You can read that story to prepare for what's next said I work to do by the Isley brothers. John chapter 11. John chapter 11. And we're gonna discuss these sisters. John chapter 11. We can discuss the sisters. And yes, you all can prepare these songs. That would be good. That would be fun to do. I think that's fun. Too bad we can't play the music, but I don't know how to.
Oh, I know
how you could do that. I think it's a way to do it, but we'll figure it out.
I got my. I'm gonna get on. When we get over here, I got so many things we can do next week. It's gonna be so much fun.
But we love you guys. We just thank you that you took the time to be on tonight with us. And we encourage you on Sunday. It's Palm Sunday. We are having our services live on that Sunday. But you can watch us virtually on Facebook and YouTube. I think that's it. I don't have any other announcement that I know of. All right, but we love you. We thank y'all for hanging with us. And as Jessica says, warrior out. I think that's how I do my fingers.
I miss you guys. I miss everybody.
Yes, Jessica had her second shot today, so she wasn't feeling 100%. And Letitia had something else to do tonight. So they were going to be listening in. But if, like I said, if anybody wants to be a guest sometime and come and be on with us, we can add space. Trust me, we got space for like 6 more, I think 4 more, anything like that, I believe. So just you can email us or hit us up or DM us, and we will be glad to bring you in. But we love you guys. We miss y'all too. Yes. Can't wait till we can hug and fellowship. But in May, we are for Women's Health Month. We are planning a time we can come together and work out outside. You know, I don't like to work out, but we're gonna try to make it fun. Do something for Women's Health Month. So maybe we all can get together then. But we love y'all. Y'all, good night.
Good night.
Bye, ladies.